After years of stability at the coordinator position for Clemson on both sides of the ball, Dabo Swinney makes a move after just 1 year of Brandon Streeter. So Garrett Riley, who had a big banner year at TCU as offensive coordinator, hasn't hung out at any one stop for too long, makes his way to Clemson. We got Jason Priester on the line from allclemson.com on SI. Jason, how's it going today?
Yes, it's been a busy couple of days, no doubt. But, yeah, Dabo Swinney's out here making moves. I guess he's tired of people talking about his offense and how stale it is and how they have fallen from the elite to never return. So he is doing something to address that. And make no mistake, we've talked about it on here several times. I am a firm believer Clemson's offense has gotten stale over the past few years. Probably nothing to do with Brandon Streeter. I think it started to get stale long before he came on board as offensive coordinator. But, just the entire scheme, I thought it could benefit from a fresh set of eyes, a fresh perspective. And that's what Garrett Riley gives you. He can come in, revamp that whole system, bring his offense with him, and replace what I think has become a stale offense with something fresh and exciting. As much improved as Clemson's offense was this year compared to last year, it's still lacking in several areas. And they don't attack the middle of the field very often, probably give up on the running game a little too quick, a lot of inconsistency. And Garrett Riley's the biggest thing with Clemson's offense is lacked explosive plays. And with Garrett Riley, he can probably bring some explosiveness back to that offense. He's the 3 years he's been calling plays now, 2 at SMU, 1 at TCU. His offenses have finished top 15 in the country and scoring offense each season, twice in the top 10. And I think that is what Dabo Swinney is striving to get back to at Clemson.
Yeah, Garrett Riley suddenly became a hot commodity, of course, with the sudden rise of TCU football, and he was at the forefront. And, of course, they scored a bunch of points and sent a quarterback, Max Duggan, to the Heisman ceremony. And I see a metric of 14th in the nation, also in yards per play. Just didn't necessarily have the answer for the Georgia defense, but few do.
I was about to say, I'm not sure many people would have had the answer that night, but that's another thing Riley brings with him. He's going to coach the quarterback. Streeter's been coaching quarterbacks forever at Clemson. He coached Watson, he coached Lawrence, Kelly Bryant, DJ, and now you get to kind of start fresh with Cade Klubnik, who has obviously made the one start, but he's going to be entering his first full season as the starter, and he gets a brand new offense to get started off with. I think this was a home run hire for Dabo. I think it absolutely benefits the talent and fits the talent that is already on the roster, the skill set of some of those guys in that wide receiver room, particularly Klubnik. I think he could thrive in this offense. I wouldn't call it a straight up air raid, but it's a variation. It's got some air raid concepts and all that good stuff. But I think Dabo Swinney knocked it out the park with this one. And Clemson's passing game coordinator is a guy by the name of Kyle Richardson. He's also the tight ends coach. Last year was his first year in that role. He's got an air raid background too, which kind of adds a little twist to this hire. He came from Northwestern High School. He's been with Dabo at Clemson for a while, served in an analyst role for several years before becoming an on-field assistant last year. But this adds another layer of intrigue to this hire, because Richardson's got the air raid background. Riley's got the air raid background. Now you got two guys with similar backgrounds, and I'm very anxious. It's going to make for an exciting spring. There wasn't, the way Clemson's season ended, not a whole lot of excitement looking forward to spring ball, which is less than 2 months away. And now here we are in a span of 24 hours that has just totally changed. There's a whole new, renewed sense of energy, a lot of excitement surrounding this program, and hats off to Dabo Swinney, because they did this thing quick and they kept it under wraps. Nobody knew about it until it was done. And to me, that's the way you're supposed to handle a coaching search.
Well, it's hard to knock Dabo Swinney for anything that he's done in the last decade. However, if there would be one thing that most people jump on him about is that the only changes he made with the coaching staff were obviously forced changes. His offensive and defensive coordinators last year took off for head coaching jobs, and therefore he had to make a move. But otherwise, he has appeared to be and been criticized for somebody who's just going to stand pat, just going to keep everybody in house and let it ride and just try to make those improvements from within. But here he makes a bold move. He goes out and gets somebody with a big reputation that's coming up through the coaching ranks, and he makes it happen.
Very reminiscent of kind of when he hired Chad Morris back in 2011. You know, he fired Billy Napier. Dabo wanted to go to the spread. Napier was not a spread guy, and you know, this feels like it's going to have the same kind of impact on the program, because back then the offense kind of needed a reset, a refresh, if you will. And I think we're at that point now. The argument can certainly be made that maybe he needed to do this a year earlier, but nonetheless, here we are. And I think Riley is going to bring a very exciting brand of football to Clemson. You know, and I can't say enough about what he did with Duggan at TCU this year. Got it. Wasn't even the starter going into the season, and here he is in New York as a Heisman finalist. If I was a Heisman voter, he'd have had my vote hands down. But I'm very excited to see the potential of Cade Klubnik's growth under Riley, and I know he doesn't stay any place very long. I think the contract's 3 years, $1.75 million with a signing bonus. We'll see if he sticks around that long, but however long you get him, it's a win-win in my book. Clemson needed a reset on offense, and Garrett Riley gives them that.
Well, he's never stayed anywhere long, but there's a bit of a difference between App State, Kansas, and the likes of SMU and Clemson. So,
and this will be his offense now. He'll be running the show. I'm not sure, you know, Sonny Dykes still had his fingerprints on that offense at TCU. So you come to Clemson, this will be kind of his offense now. He'll be running the show. I don't know how much input Dabo will have. I mean, we know he's been involved in play calling in the past, but this strikes me, like I said earlier, as one of those things that's eerily similar to the Chad Morris hiring, and Morris kind of had full autonomy over that thing, and I would expect Garrett Riley will too.
Got Jason Priester here from allclemson.com on SI. Check out his work right there, and please subscribe to the Voice of College Football right here and give us a like. It's easy to do. Just like the video. So Clemson looks to rediscover explosiveness in the offense. They also look to rediscover the tight end position, and they are checking out one Christian Bettenker, who they pried away from Oregon, and Ohio State is the latest commit.
Yeah, I watched this kid work out at Dabo Swinney's camp last summer, and he brings a dynamic skill set to the table. He already looks the part. He's about 6'4". I'm guessing probably 240, 250 pounds. But with Davis Allen leaving, and by the time this kid gets here, Brenningstool could be on the way out too. Clemson will need an influx of talent in that tight end room. I like the two tight ends they signed in 2023, but this is a top 100 talent, one of the 5 best tight ends in the country. You can make the argument he's one of the 3 best tight ends in the country, but it's hard to argue, for the first offensive commitment in this class. I think this is a hit. I love this kid. His film just jumps off at you. And third commitment of the 2024 class, it gives Clemson a defensive back to Void Fagan. They got a kicker on board, and Nolan Hauser, and now their first offensive player, Christian Bettencourt. And again, like you say, one of the top tight ends in the country.
Again, it's Jason Priester. Always gives us the breakdown in Clemson football. We always appreciate Jason stopping by, giving us the latest. And check out Jason's work, the deep dive with Clemson football, basketball, and athletics there at allclemson.com on SI. Jason, we always appreciate it. And we've got maybe a little bit more juice as we head towards spring practice now, checking out a new offense once we get there.
No doubt. A little excitement surrounding this program. I like it.